And welcome to Hatha Vinyasa Flow. My name's Amy Sullivan. I am a yoga teacher. I'm also a health and nutrition coach. And welcome from San Diego in my dad's beautiful backyard. We've got this gorgeous bougainvillea behind us. And I thought we would start with a little bit of just mindful meditation, just settling in to ourselves today. So find a comfortable seat to start. I'm gonna sit cross-legged here. Cross-legged is not working for your body today, not a big deal. You can sit in a chair. You wanna just be able to ground. So if you are in a chair versus on your mat, have your feet be grounded, right? So if we're sitting in Sukhasana, an easy pose like this, your sit bones are grounded and your feet are a little grounded. But if you're in a chair, just make sure the soles of your feet are flat on the mat and that you can ground down with your sit bones and raise up through your spine. So everyone ground down, lengthen up, and bring your hands. You can bring your hands onto your knees. You can bring your hands in your lap, whatever would feel comfortable to you. And then slightly draw your chin back. Feel the back of your neck lengthen. And grow a little taller in your seat. And then maybe you close your eyes here, or just gently shift your gaze so that you aren't really focused on anything. We'll just start with a moment of just settling in to the space. Feel yourself in your chair, on your mat, arriving in this moment. And just begin to notice your breath here as you notice the gentle rise and fall of your belly and your chest. Start to feel into the tip of your nose. As you breathe in, notice the air traveling around the tip of your nose, drawing in through your nostrils. And then as you breathe out, notice that air traveling back out through your nostrils, kind of coming out, disseminating out into the space around you. And as you sit here breathing, start to focus in on the feeling of the air coming in and out. The feeling of your breath traveling in, down your lungs, filling up your belly. Notice any other sensations that you're feeling in your body. Notice the air on your skin. Perhaps you notice the feeling of your clothes on your being. Notice any warm or cool spots of your body. And as you're traveling inward, feeling, start to send your senses and your awareness to your ears. What are you hearing? Noises. Maybe there's a sound of the house or of the outdoors, little hums or buzzes, perhaps birds chirping, perhaps life outside, cars, or wind. And just breathing, just noticing, just traveling inward. And now from here, let's take a nice deeper inhale. So as you draw in this next breath, allow your belly to expand with air as you fill in, expand through your lungs. And a nice deep exhale here. One more time, nice deep inhale, draw in that big breath. And a nice big exhale, expand that out. And from here, friends, I'm gonna grab the music, keep breathing. Now I welcome you to change to your Ujjayi breath, your yogic breath. As you begin to inhale, seal your lips together and begin to draw your breath evenly in and out through your nose. And as you breathe, enhance with a little constriction in the back of your throat. It's almost like you're fogging up a mirror as you breathe in and out. And feel that expansion, that building of heat as you. That's your yogic breath, your Ujjayi. So you're welcome to use that throughout class, or you can release it anytime you like. And from here, friends, if your eyes are closed, I invite you to flutter them open gently, staying in your seat from here. And just do a gentle twist. So as you inhale, lift your arms right up to the sky, stretch. And then as you exhale, twist over to the right. Let your front hand rest on your right knee. Let your back hand either rest alongside your body, or maybe if you have the space at this point in time, your right hand can draw a little bit behind your body. Use your arms to help leverage a little deeper twist. Continue to ground down through your sit bones so you can rise up longer through your spine. Take one more big inhale here. And then as you exhale, gently unwind, come back to the center line. We'll do the other side. So inhale, arms up high to stretch and lengthen through your torso. And then exhale over to the left. Again, your right arm, your front arm will find your knee. Your left arm, your back arm will find the ground, the space to the side or behind you. And then utilize those arms to help lengthen you longer and twist you just a little bit deeper. Take one more big inhale here. And then a gentle exhale, release, unwind, come back to the center line. Beautiful job. And from here, friends, shrug your shoulders up, nice and tight up to your ears, and drop them down. Bring them up and drop them down. One more time, bring them up and drop them down. And then let's do some shoulder rolls. So nice big exaggerated shoulder rolls, getting deep into that neck, into your shoulder and back muscles. Just a nice little emergence into your physical being. And then go ahead and reverse direction, whatever direction you're going, go the opposite way. Draw your shoulders up next to your ears, make it nice and big and exaggerated. And then come back to stillness here. We'll just do a few neck rolls from here. So drop your right ear towards your right shoulder, let gravity pull your head downward, and then start to tilt your chin towards your right armpit, towards your shoulder. And then draw your head gently down along the midline towards your chin, so your chin tucks down to your chest. And then start to roll on over to the left side. Eventually your left ear will meet toward your left shoulder. And then we'll head back the other way. So tilt your head down toward your left armpit and start to draw your chin toward the center line of your chest. And then on over, nice and slow, to the right. So your right ear is trending towards your right shoulder. Let's do that one more time. All the way down through the center line, over to the left. And then all the way down and back over to the right. Come back to the center line one more time. So your chin is tucked down to your chest, and then gently draw your chin up to center. Beautiful job, everyone. Come on into your hands and knees. We'll do a few cat-cows from here. So from your cat-cow, you're gonna spread your legs about hips width apart, knees underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers out nice and wide, and then draw your belly down as you inhale, cow pose. Lift your hips up high, shine your heart forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your chin up to look forward and up. Inhale one more time here. Exhale, cat pose. Tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. Press your hands down into the mat to lift your spine higher, separating your shoulder blades. And then let's take a few in breath to movement. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time, inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, come back to center, back to your neutral spine here. Draw your big toes toward one another. Separate your knees a little bit wider. And then shift your hips back, come into child's pose. So shift your hips over your heels. Draw your heart down towards the mat and walk your fingertips forward. Allow your forehead to make its way toward the mat. Rest your forehead on the mat. And then the more you walk your fingertips forward, just feel into it. You can walk fingertips forward as you shift your hips back to stretch your spine. And then you can play around with dropping your chest closer towards the earth. To add a little heart opener, just feel into what feels good. You can roll your forehead on the mat side to side, a little neck massage here. And as you rest in this child's pose for just a few more moments, I invite you to come back here at any time during this practice if you need just a moment, a pause. This pose is always available to you. This is any other pose, any other adjustment that helps you feel more comfortable in your body as we flow through our class today. to take care of you first and foremost. And then on your next inhale, my friends, rise back up, tabletop. Come back here. So if your fingers are a little forward, see my wrists are not aligned with my shoulders anymore, so I'm gonna walk them back underneath my shoulders. Separate your toes so they are hips width, and then take a peek down at your hands. You want your index finger to be parallel to the long side edges of your mat, or maybe your fingers point out a little bit. That's gonna give you that broad shoulder range for our downward facing dog. Tuck your toes underneath, draw your abs up and in towards your spine. Inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just lift your hips up to the sky. Shift them back towards the back of your space, and then play around here as first down dog of class, perhaps the day. So bend and straighten your knees, just walk your dog, ground down into your hands, and then send your energies lengthening upwards. Roll your inner thighs towards the back of your space to separate your sit bones. And draw your heart towards your thighs to lengthen your spine. And you can bend your knees as much as you need to here. Come back to a place of stillness in that down dog. And if you had to choose, heels on the ground or long straight spine, bend your knees a lot, lift your heels and lengthen through your spine. And then from here, friends, inhale as you come to the balls of your feet. Gaze forward between your thumbs. Exhale, ragdoll pose. Take a couple giant steps all the way up to the top of your mat. Bend your knees a lot here. Maybe even rest your chest on your thighs. Grab onto opposite elbows. And then you can dangle side to side, shake your head yes and no, bend and straighten your knees. Anything that feels good, just let gravity give you a little bit of a boost, a little assist. And then make your way back to a place of stillness. Take the rock out of your body, release your hands down towards the mat, root into your feet. Tuck your tailbone under, begin to rise up, curl up nice and slow. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Rise up to the top. Roll your shoulders back and down. Yeah, good morning, or hello. I know it's afternoon for some of you. And here, I'm just turning so you can see me from head on, but you can choose to have your stance. If you want a little more stability in your stance here, you can choose to have your feet about hips width apart. You can also bring your big toes to touch and keep a little sliver of space between your heels. And then wherever you have chosen to plant your feet, really ground them down evenly. So imagine there's like a triangle from your big toe to your pinky toe, and then a triangle comes down to form a point at your heel. And imagine all edges of that triangle are pressing evenly down into the earth so that you can rise up, lengthen through your legs. Beautiful job. Inhale, mountain pose. Lift your fingertips up high. Pause here for a moment as you tuck your tailbone slightly under, lift your hip points up, draw your abs in, rotate your armpits toward one another to lengthen your spine even more. Stretch up. Grab onto your left wrist. Inhale here, stretch longer. Exhale, a little side bend over to your right. As you ground down with your feet, rise up and over. Feel both sides of your torso lengthening as you come over, shifting your hips out to the left. Inhale, come back up to your mountain pose. Grab onto your other wrist. Exhale, side bend to the left over to the other side. And draw your right shoulder slightly back so you square off your shoulders. Really feel that stretch through your right ribs. Gorgeous job, everyone. Inhale, back up to your mountain pose. Separate your hands. Exhale, little micro back bend, a little lat pull down. So cactus your arms out, shine your heart up towards the sky. Squeeze your shoulder blades together in the back. Tuck your tailbone under, lift your chin. Inhale, back up to your mountain pose. Stretch your fingertips up high. Gorgeous job. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Bring your hands to your shins, maybe up on your thighs. You want to parallel your spine to the mat. Roll your shoulder blades back down towards your tailbone. Ground into your feet to lift up your thighs up off your kneecaps. Inhale here. Exhale, high plank, plant your palms, step on back. You could be up on your toes today, maybe you're down on your knees. Wherever you are, really ground into the mat with your hands to ignite your chest. Turn on your abs by drawing them up and in towards your spine, and then roll your inner thighs up towards the ceiling. Gorgeous job. Inhale, come 1 inch forward and make a little space. Exhale, lower all the way down. Keep your elbows next to your body. Point your elbows back towards your toes and come all the way down to your belly from here. Untuck your toes. Walk your hands back so they're by your lower ribs. Point your elbows up to the sky and hug them inward. Inhale, low cobra. Roll your shoulders down. Draw your abs up and in. Press your pelvis into the mat. Send your tailbone towards your heels. Draw the crown of your head forward. Take one more inhale. Maybe you hover your hands. Exhale, lower all the way down. You're gonna do that again in a breath to movement. So rolling cobras. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. You can add your legs if you want a little extra. Lift your feet up, suck your thighs toward one another. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Let's do one more just like that. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes under. Draw your abs in. Inhale, rise up to either tabletop or high plank. Just lift your knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause here, take a few breaths, reset, recenter. Feel into you. As we flow through our class today, I invite you to focus in on just being present. Feel into each pose. Feel into each breath. Just noticing the little subtleties, the air moving in and out, which muscles are contracting, which muscles are softening or stretching. Just get a little deeper into micro focus of you and your body. And from here, come onto the balls of your feet, come up to your tippy toes, bend your knees a lot and gaze forward between your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. You could take a big step or maybe you hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, forward fold. Let's take that in a little flow, a breath to movement. Inhale, rise up, find your mountain pose. Stretch your fingertips up high. Tuck your tailbone down, draw your abs in. Grab onto your left wrist. Exhale, side bend over to the right. Inhale, back to center, mountain pose. Exhale, side bend over to the left. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, lat pull down, little micro back bend. Shine your heart up and your elbows out. Inhale, mountain pose, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Let your heart lead you as you bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, high plank. We're gonna come straight to the high plank. Pause here. Again, you could be on your toes or your knees. Come slightly forward. And then this time you're gonna lower halfway down. So point your elbows back as you bend your elbows. You can come to your knees at any time. And then just continue to draw forward as you inhale, pull your hands back, heart forward. Slide through, find upward facing dog. Pause here. So as you draw your heart forward, roll your shoulders back and down towards your tailbone, and then press your feet into the mat to lift your thighs. Take one more inhale here, lift your chin a little higher. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, draw your abs in. Abs and legs will lift your hips high. And then pause here for a few breaths. Breathe in and out. Come back to you, feel the hands, feel your feet contacting the mat, giving you that rooting, that grounding so you can lift your hips higher. Inhale, come to the balls of your feet, bend your knees, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold, step or hop. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. We're gonna do that one more time. Inhale, rise up, mountain pose. Grab onto your left wrist here, friends. Exhale, side bend over to your right. Inhale, rise up, mountain. Exhale, side bend over to your left. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, find your little micro back bend. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the crown of your head forward. Exhale, high plank to low plank, flowing right through. It's a step back, come slightly forward. Elbows point back, hugging into your body as you lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Draw your heart forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up high, beautiful job. Few breaths here, reset, recenter. Roll your inner thighs towards the back of your space to broaden across your sit bones. Ground down evenly into your hands, send weight into the ball mound of your pointer finger and your thumb to protect your wrists. Rotate your armpits toward one another to separate your shoulder blades. In your next inhale, come to the balls of your feet, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Take a step, take a hop, travel up to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Beautiful job, team. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. So pause here. So here's the side view. So I'm shifting my hips backwards. Zipper up my thighs, send a little more weight to your heels. Here's the front view. So maybe your feet are separate, that's fine. Feel your inner thighs draw toward one another and root down into your heels. Feel your hamstrings and your glutes ignite. And then draw your abs up and in towards your spine. Tuck your tailbone under. Beautiful job. Inhale here. Exhale, rise on up, stand on up, shake those legs out. From here, we'll do it again. Inhale, chair pose. Actually, I'll stand this way for the first one. Inhale, chair pose. Sink your hips back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Keep your shifting those hips back. Inhale, draw your tailbone back as your crown comes forward. Hinge from your hips a little. Exhale, chair twist to the right. So drop your left elbow downward. Lift your right elbow up. Your lower elbow is looking to find the inside or the outside of your right knee. And then press your hands into one another. Feel that twist enhance. Feel your belly button twist. Feel the twist from your belly button become a little more pronounced. Continue to zipper up your thighs. Pretend you have a dolphin tail. And then maybe you open your arms for the last one here. Take a nice big inhale. Kiss your shoulder blades in the back as you stretch your fingertips top to bottom. Exhale, forward fold. So untwist. Draw your head down towards the center line of your mat. Shake your legs out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, chair pose, rise up. Utkatasana. We're gonna do that twist on the other side. So exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, shift the crown of your head forward, hips back. Exhale, twist to your left, drop your right elbow down this time. Let your right elbow search for the inside or the outside of your left leg. And then once again, press your thighs together. Press your hands into each other. Continue to squeeze your glutes. And shift the weight into your heels. Maybe open your arms for the next one. Rise up with your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Shake your legs out. Moving on from here, friends. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank to low plank. So vinyasa, you can step back. You can go to your knees for these. Just come slightly forward. Keep your elbows back as you lower down. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And from this down dog, inhale, 3-leg dog. So kick your right leg up into the sky. Continue to root down with your hands so you can rise up, lengthen through your spine. And then bend your right knee, open your hips up, stack your right hip over your left hip, and draw a little circle in the sky with your right knee. Just awaken into your hips. And then come back to your 3-legged dog. Straighten your right leg, point your toes down towards the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, runner's lunge. Draw your right leg forward all the way through. So draw your abs in to facilitate that space. And then bring both your hands inside your right leg. Shift forward and back. Once again, we're just awakening into our hips, easing into that motion. And then come back to stillness. Drop your back leg down. And you can untuck your toes in the back here. So both hands are on the inside of my front foot. Begin to draw your left hip, the back hip, straight down to the mat. And then maybe if you have the space, your front knee comes out to the right. So right knee out to the right, only if that feels okay. It's totally optional. And then use your hands to pull your torso slightly forward. Drop your left hip down more. Draw the crown of your head forward to lengthen as you stretch deeply into your hips. And come back to your breath here. Come back to being present in your body. This is a beautiful opportunity to just really feel into those nooks and crannies that might be feeling a little extra tight or loose. Just notice, just observe, give yourself permission to be an outside observer of what's going on. Feel into those spaces and breathe in to those spaces. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, come back to your low lunge, back to your center line. Keep your back knee pressed down. And then inhale to low crescent. So rise up with your torso, keep your back knee down. And so here you can see like my front heel's a little bit forward. I'm gonna bring it back slightly. So my knee lines up over my ankle. And then tuck your tailbone under to lift your hip points. That's gonna lengthen you through your torso. Draw your outer hips in to give you that stability. And then perhaps you lift your arms up high, palms face towards one another. Roll your shoulders back and down away from your ears. Draw your abs in towards your spine. Grab onto your left wrist here. Inhale, rise up and stretch through your torso. Exhale, side bend over to the right. Squeeze your thighs toward one another so you can bend over just a little more. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, find your little micro back bend from this angle. So cactus your arms out, shine your heart up, squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your chin. Inhale, back up to your low crescent moon. Stretch your arms. Exhale, low lunge. Frame your front foot now with your hands. Tuck your back toes under to lift your knee. Spin your back foot out about 45 degrees. So you have front heel to back arch alignment. Bend into your front knee. Inhale, warrior two, windmill open. And pause here. Let's find the warrior two base. So you want your front knee aligned over your front ankle. If you're seeing it go forward, that means you need to widen your stance front to back just a little bit. You want to keep it here or a little bit back, right? And then root into the heel of your front foot, outer knife edge of your back foot. And now you have a strong warrior base from here. Roll your shoulder blades back and down away from your ears, and then stretch your fingertips out and squeeze your shoulder blades together in the back to open through your heart in the front. Once you found all of this, then gaze over your right fingertips. You found your warrior two, strong and steady. Inhale here. Exhale, extended side angle. So start to reach forward, hinge from your front hip. As you draw forward, and we can go forward no more. You're super long through your torso. Drop your right arm down, left arm up to the sky, and then shine your heart out. Twist from your navel. You can root your lower arm into your front leg to help open through your hip even more. Continue to ground down through both your feet. And once again, draw your shoulder blades together in the back to open through your heart. Gorgeous job, everyone. Inhale, reverse triangle. So rise up. Straighten your front leg, and then lift your right arm up high. Back arm could be on your back thigh, or maybe you take a half bind. Bend your back elbow, slide the back of your hand along your back, and then maybe it wraps all the way around to your front thigh. Maybe not. This is really about the journey. It doesn't matter if you make it to your front thigh. And then lift up through your front arm to get that stretch through your front ribs. Inhale here. Exhale, high plank to low plank vinyasa. So spin your back foot in line with your front, frame your front foot with your toes, and step your right foot back. So now we're in that high plank once again on your toes, or maybe your knees come slightly forward, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful job. I'm gonna spin myself around so I'm facing the right direction. You stay right where you are. Take one more inhale here. And a nice big exhale, side out. Come onto the balls of your feet with your next inhale. Bend your knees a lot. Look forward between your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Step or hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, chair pose. Exhale, chair airplane. So keep your chair legs, bring your hands back behind you, press your palms towards the back of your space, and squeeze your shoulder blades together as you draw your heart forward. Beautiful job. Inhale, back to your chair, just lift your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank to low plank. Find your vinyasa once again. If you want it, you can also go straight to downward facing dog. So vinyasa is your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And from here, friends, inhale your left leg high, 3-leg dog on the other side. Root down with your hands to rise up through your toes. And then bend your left knee and open up your hips. Stack your left hip over your right. Paint those little circles in the sky with your left knee. And draw your abs in to give you stability through your torso. And then inhale, come back to your 3-leg dog. Engage your abs to give you lift as you exhale, runner's lunge. So draw your left leg forward and through. And we'll go forward and back just a little bit. Both of your hands on the inside of your front foot. And shift forward and back, forward and back. Beautiful. And And then come back to stillness, drop your back knee down, untuck your back toes, and we'll stay here in this runner's lunge for a moment. So begin both hands on the inside of the foot, and then drop your right hip straight down towards the mat. And maybe if you have the space, you also send your left knee out to the left, only if it feels good. And then use your hands to pull your length in through your spine, draw your crown of your head forward as you drop your back hip down, as you perhaps send your left knee out to the left. And if none of this feels good to your body, you could have your hands up on a chair or something. You could also have your hands up on your knee, sink your hip down this way if that feels a little bit more supportive. Take a nice big inhale here. And as you exhale, release something, let something go. Maybe it's a little tension in your jaw, a little tension in your shoulders. Maybe it gives you space to sink 1 inch lower. And then gently, gently draw your left knee back in line. So, and frame your front foot. Inhale, find your low crescent moon. So lift your torso up, keep your back knee down. And from here, once again, you're looking for knee over ankle in your front knee. And then tuck your tailbone, lift your hip points. So the length come through your spine, and then draw your arms up. And from here, friends, grab onto your right wrist. This time, inhale, lengthen through both sides of your body. Squeeze your thighs together. Exhale, side bend toward the bent knee in the front. And then inhale back up to center. Exhale, micro back bend. Kiss your shoulder blades together in the back as you lift your heart high, lift your chin up, squeeze your thighs together, tuck your tailbone under for that stability. Inhale, back up, low crescent moon. Exhale, low lunge. Frame your front foot and now lift your back knee and spin your back foot out 45 degrees. Bend into your front foot, or knee rather. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. So let's find that warrior two base on this side. Always start with the legs first. So send a little more weight to the pinky side edges of your toes. So feel like both thighs rotating outward. Ground down with your feet. Draw your abs in. Shine your heart and hips kind of towards the long edge of your mat. They're not gonna face this way because our feet are kind of pointed this way. But you're just feeling an opening, a trending this way. Then send your arms out. Gaze over your left fingertips. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Root into the heel of your front foot. Inhale here, sink 1 millimeter lower. Exhale, extended side angle. Reach forward, lengthen through both sides of your torso. And then come down. Tick-tock down to 6, up to 12. Shine your heart out. And continue to ground into both of your feet. So you have, once again, that stable base to rise up. And feel into it. Feel the stretch, feel into you. Just take a moment to notice any sensations. Where are you contracting? Where can you release a little bit more? And then we move on from here, team. Inhale, rise up, reverse triangle, rise up, straighten your front leg, swap your arms. Shift a little more weight into the ball of your front foot. Now keep a micro bend in your front knee. Draw your left hip point slightly forward to even them toward the mat. And then maybe take that bind with your back arm around your back, your waist. And take one more inhale here. Exhale, high plank to low plank. Plant your hands, spin both toes to face forward, and then step your left foot back. And then lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful job. Take a nice big inhale here. And a big open mouth exhale, side out, stick your tongue out. Come back to your yogic breath, your ujjayi. Come back into you, come back to center. And then on your next inhale, rise up onto your toes, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, forward fold, step or hop. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. I'm gonna do a little time check here to make sure we're on time. Excellent. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, chair pose. Back to your Utkatasana. Exhale, chair airplane. We did this just before, so press your hands back. And from here, friends, here, listen to the change. Start to shift your weight over to your right heel. Your right leg becomes very strong. Wrap your outer right hip in, squeeze your right glute. Your left leg is starting to become weightless. You can lift your left heel up off the ground. Inhale, one-legged mountain. So rise up to standing and draw your left knee up as you come. Really stamp into your right leg. Feel your right thigh lifting off your kneecap. So you're super strong like a tree trunk. Flex your left toes. Feel that little balance challenge, that balance lift. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, airplane pose. So kick your left leg back, draw the crown of your head forward, a little balance opportunity. We're gonna step our left leg back. But in the interim, you can play with a little float, a little fly through the air. So as you squeeze your shoulder blades together in the back, draw your abs up and in. And if you fall out of it like I just did, no big deal. You just get back in. Flex through both your feet. Think mountain pose in both your feet. Draw your abs in, point both hip points towards the earth. Take one more inhale here. And then step it back. Find crescent pose with airplane arms. So bend into your front knee, straighten through your back leg, hug both outer hips in, feel both glutes ignite. That's gonna give you that stability. And then draw your abs up and in to lengthen through your spine. Inhale, find your regular crescent. So just lift your torso high. And you might recognize we were just here, but your back knee was down on the mat. So you could come down here. We were just here, right? So same idea, but the back leg is lifted. So you put weight into the ball of your back foot, heel of your front foot, squeeze your thighs toward one another. To hug your midline in, tuck your tailbone under to lengthen. Inhale, exhale, bring your hands to heart center. I'm gonna come into a twist from here. So you might wanna widen your stance side to side to give you a little more stability, and then bend back into your front knee. Inhale as you draw the crown of your head forward. Exhale, crescent twist. So drop your left elbow down towards your front knee, towards the bent knee. And then press your hands into each other to help facilitate a little bit deeper of a twist. Continue to squeeze your thighs together. Beautiful balance challenge. I love it. And maybe for the last breath or two, you open your arms once again, just like we did when we were in chair pose. So strong. Okay, we're coming back up to warrior two. So really ground down into your feet. Squeeze your thighs together. Inhale, windmill open, warrior two. I'll spin around for you. Getting strong through our legs. So you have that strong foundation, not only for yoga class, but also to walk off your mat into life from here, right? Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten your front leg, rise up here. Exhale, triangle pose. So keep your legs as they are. Maybe you actually parallel your arms. Maybe you actually walk your back leg in just a little bit, shorten your stance. Keep a micro bend in your front knee. Arms are parallel. Gaze over your right fingertips. And now hinge from your right hip, reach forward first. So feel both sides of your torso getting long, 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 long. And then exhale, right arm comes down to find something. And then left arm comes up. So maybe your right arm, your lower arm, has found your shin, or your thigh, or a block, or a potted plant, or your sofa arm, something that's stable, that can help you have a little base for your right arm so that you can twist outward from your belly button to open your heart. Send a little more weight into the ball of your front foot, micro bend in your front knee. Inhale here, and exhale. And if you want, friends, opportunity for balance, you could stay right here in your triangle, or you can come into half moon. So for half moon, bend into your front knee, gaze down at your front toes. Maybe your top arm comes onto your hip for a moment, and then shift your weight to your front leg. Rise up off your back foot. And when you found your balance, maybe once again, your bottom arm's on a sofa chair, and then you turn your lifted toes outwards. Whoops. Turn your lifted toes outwards, and then you lift your top arm up. So shine your heart out. Half moon. That's what it looks like with an arm lifted. Or maybe you have a hand down or hovering. And then when you're done with this, you've had enough, you come back to your triangle pose. So strong, everyone. That looks amazing. Inhale, rise back up to star pose. So star pose, toes out, heels in, legs spread nice and wide, and then stretch. So you're like a bursting star. Spread your fingers out nice and wide. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, come into horse pose. Just bend your knees, sink your hips down. Draw your hands to each thigh. And from here, drill a little more weight into your heels. Draw your abs in and roll your shoulders back and down to lift your heart up. Press your knees away from each other by squeezing your outer glutes. Beautiful job. Hands to your thighs. So now you're gonna draw your head forward, butt back. So here's the side view. Feel a little stretch. So you press your hands into your thighs to lengthen your spine a little bit more. And from here, we're just gonna twist. So exhale, twist to your right from your belly button. Bend your left elbow, your back elbow, the one you're twisting away from. And you can press that back hand a little more into your thigh to give you a little more edge, a little more stretch. Inhale, come back to center. Other side, exhale, twist. Inhale, back to center. We'll do that one more time each side. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, back to center. Continue to sink your butt down in the back to lengthen your spine even more. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale here. Inhale, back to your star. One more time. And exhale, Vinyasa, high plank to low plank. So spin towards the top of your mat. Frame your front foot, point both toes forward, and then step your front foot back. You can either shift straight to downward facing dog, or if you want that little extra heat building opportunity, Vinyasa, come through your upward dog to your downward dog. And reset, recenter. Just take a moment to notice the difference between the sides of your body. Once again, listen in, hear the sound of your breath, hear the sound of the world around you. Just noticing what's going on inside and outside at the very subtlest levels. And then coming back into you, coming back into your breath. On your next inhale, come to the balls of your feet, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Make your way to the top of your space. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sink your hips back. Lift your heart up, your arms up. This time we're gonna head to our other side. So really draw your left leg down, ground down with your left leg. Wrap your outer left hip in. Inhale, I forgot my chair airplane. Inhale here, exhale, chair airplane. Hands back now, shift your weight over to your left. Wrap your outer left glute in. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Lift your right knee up as you stand up tall. Flex through your right toes. And draw your tailbone down to lift your hip points up. Suck your abs in towards your spine. Like wrap them in like a little corset. Flex your right toes. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, airplane pose. Kick your right leg back as you draw your heart forward. Parallel your body towards the mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Think up dog in your chest as you press your hands up towards the ceiling. Point your right toes down towards the earth. Roll your inner right thigh up. Shine your hip points down. Draw your abs up and in. So strong, you got this. For one more big inhale. And as you exhale, find your crescent pose. Just step your back foot down. So once again, we're coming into a twist. So if you want a little more stability, widen your stance side to side just a little bit. Whoops. Maybe not too much, or you do that. And if you wobble, it's all good. So from here, friends, so we have our hands back. Draw your outer hips toward one another and squeeze your thighs. Bend your front leg, straighten through your back leg. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And then inhale, find your regular crescent pose. Just like we did when our back knee was on the ground. Tuck your tailbone under to lengthen through your spine. Lift your hip points up. One more big inhale here. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, draw the crown of your head forward, getting ready to twist towards your front knee. Exhale, crescent pose, twist, drop your right elbow down. It's searching for your front knee. Maybe it makes it to the inside, the outside, the top. Maybe you're hovering. but press your hands into each other to enhance the twist coming from your navel center. And squeeze your thighs toward one another. It's gonna keep giving you that stability. A little more weight in the heel of your front foot, the ball of your back foot. And then maybe you open up your arms for the last breath or two. You got this. You are strong and mighty yogis. We're gonna come up to warrior two. So really ground down through your feet. Draw your abs in. Inhale, windmill open. Find your warrior two. Yes, nailed it. And here, inhale, reverse triangle, straighten through your front leg. Rise up, stretch up, lengthen through both sides of your torso. Rotate your front thigh outward, both thighs outward. Inhale, exhale, triangle. First parallel your arms, and then hinge from your front hip. Reach forward, and then drop your left arm down, right arm up. Once again, your lower arm's gonna find what feels most comfortable to give you length through both sides of your belly, both sides of your torso, and then the opportunity to twist open. So we lengthen to make space to open and twist out. Micro bend in your front knee. You can stay right here, my friends. You can come into half moon on this side. For my half mooners, gaze down at your toes, bend your front knee, and let your top leg, or your back leg rather, become weightless. And then you rise back up. Maybe your fingertips tent on the ground, or a block, or a flower pot, or whatever you have that's stable. And then once you're up and stable, rotate your top leg, your toes out, and shine your heart back out, just like in your triangle. Basically in triangle pose with back leg lifted. And squeeze both glutes. Your right glute's gonna lift your hip a little bit higher. So strong, everyone. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, come back to your triangle. Inhale, rise up. 2-star. One more 10-star. And exhale, hands on your hips. From here, friends, point your toes now forward. So you're facing your leg, you're facing the long edge of your mat. Point your toes forward. Keep a micro bend in your knees. As you inhale, roll your shoulders back and down and lift your heart up. Tuck your tailbone under, slightly lift your chin. Exhale, Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. So hinge from your hips, come forward with the crown of your head. Draw your abs in, root into your feet and micro bend your knees and come down. And so maybe your hands make it to the mat. Maybe that's a lot on the hamstrings. And so you find a chair and your hands come onto the chair. Continue to point your toes forward, micro bend in your knees. And the focus here is length through the spine. So if that means a big bend in your knees, that's amazing. That's great. Continue to draw the crown of your head either forward or down towards the mat. And if you have more space, this morning you can play around with walking your hands back in line with your feet, or maybe even beyond, through your legs, towards the back of your space. Point your fingertips away from your body. Now you find yourself in a new position, a new asana, a new shape. Take a moment just to notice what's happening in this shape with your body. Once again, feel the places that are contracting, the places that are releasing, the wind blowing on your face, the hum of the heater, whatever is happening in your space. Just tune in for a moment. And then if your hands are not underneath your shoulders, walk them underneath your shoulders or keep them on that edge of a sofa. Really ground into your feet. Ignite your thighs. And then inhale, rise back up to your star pose. Exhale, hands to your hips. Beautiful job. And step on back to the top of your mat here. Inhale, back up to your mountain pose one more time. Exhale, little micro back bend. Shine your heart up towards the ceiling, look up. Inhale, rise up, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, tuck and curl. So bring your hands down to the mat. Lift your heels up and bend your knees. You like to rest your torso on your thighs. Make a little ball with your body here. Tuck your chin down. And then really press your hands into the mat to round through the top of your spine. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift again. Straighten your legs, draw the crown of your head forward. Exhale, high plank, plant your palms, step it back. Maybe you're on your toes, maybe you're on your knees. And then come on down to your belly. So lower nice and slow and controlled. Keep your elbows in as you come all the way down. Beautiful. Bring your forearms to the mat here. Untuck your toes. I'm gonna slide back because I am longer than my mat. Coming into Sphinx pose. So you're gonna make the number 11 with your hands. Your fingers are pointing forward, your toes are pointing back. Zipper up your thighs. And then elbows are right about below your shoulders. And then you're gonna do an action of isometrically pulling your hands and your shoulders back as you start to lift your heart up. Roll your shoulder blades back and down. This is not a huge motion, right? So you're feeling a little arch in your back. And if this doesn't feel good on your back, lower down just a little bit. Send your tailbone towards your heels. Draw your shoulder blades together. So you can even like roll your shoulders down your back and then reset your elbows on the ground. Send your tailbone away. Press your pelvis into the mat and shine your heart forward. And once again, if this feels like you're dumping into your lower spine, don't go that big. Lower down a little bit, or maybe you take that low cobra once again that we did at the very beginning of class. And then wherever you are, take a nice big inhale. And a nice big exhale as you lower down all the way. Let one of your cheeks rest down on the mat. And then bend your knees here, windshield wiper your legs. Give your back a little massage. A little heart opening opportunity here. And then gently stop the windshield wipering of your legs. Straighten them back out. Bring your nose back towards the mat. Option to do that Sphinx pose again, or Cobra, or you can come into Locust pose here. So for Locust pose, you're gonna stay lengthened through your body and bring your hands down next to your side. So you can, two choices for arms here. You can have your palms facing toward one another, resting right about at your hips, raised up, or you can interlace your hands, if you have the space for that, on top of your tailbone. And then wherever you have chosen to be, everyone draw your abs up and in towards your spine. Press your pelvis into the mat, zipper up your thighs, and inhale, Locust pose. Roll your shoulders back and down. Maybe your hands lift up off your tailbone or along sides of your body. Perhaps your feet lift up. Roll your inner thighs up towards the ceiling. Send your tailbone towards your heels. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lengthen the crown of your head forward. You're one long, strong being. Take another inhale, and then exhale, come on down one more time. Bend your knees and windshield wiper. Just rest and reset. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers out nice and wide, point your elbows up. Press into your hands, draw your abs in to press your hips back. So you're coming back up to a seated. I'm gonna do one more time check here. All right, we're in good shape, my friends. Spin around onto your sit bones here and let your legs come out in front of you long. So you want to evenly ground down for your sit bones. You might mean moving a little flesh off to the side here and there. If you need to have a little bend in your knees, that's fine. If you want to sit your bum up on a cushion, if you have tighter hamstrings, I recommend sitting on a cushion or a towel. You could roll your yoga mat up and just give yourself a little lift here. It's going to make it easier to facilitate bowing forward. Flex through both your feet. And again, you can keep a little bend in your knees here. Stick a blanket under your knees. Ground down through your sit bones and inhale, lengthen up through your arms. And then exhale, come forward, a little forward fold. So hinge from your hips forward as far as you can, and then let your arms come down and find what they will find today. And that might be your thighs, that might be your shins, might be your toes. And then as you ground down through your sit bones with each inhale, lengthen through your spine. As you exhale, give yourself permission to surrender down just a little bit more. Just a few breaths here to round. Give yourself permission to round your spine, let your head hang heavy, lengthen through the back of your neck. Take one more big inhale here, fill your back body up with air, feel your back ribs expand as you inhale. And then as you exhale, use your hands walking up your legs to help right your torso back up to the center. Gorgeous job. Bring your hands behind your hips. Bend your knees and shift your hips forward. And then we'll come on down, lying down on our back. So roll down nice and slow and controlled, making a little C curve with your spine as you come all the way down. Walk your feet in as close to your heel here. And from here, we'll take a little figure four. So cross your right ankle over your left knee and send your knee away from your face. You might feel a nice hip stretch here, and hang out here with your left foot on the mat, and if that feels fine, stay right there. If you want a little deeper stretch, you can lift both feet off the mat, grab onto the back of your left thigh, and then maybe you gently rock side to side, flex your right foot to protect your knee. And breathe into your right hip, any nooks and crannies, any tightness. And then exhale, gently release down. We'll do the other side. So cross your left ankle over your right knee. Send your left knee away from your face. And just stay right here and hang out, or you can grab onto the back of your right leg and rock side to side. Whatever feels good and supportive to your spine. And then gently come back to center. Release both hands down, and then draw your right knee into your chest. You can hug your right knee in, and if it feels all right on your lower spine, press your left thigh down to the mat, left leg long. If it does not feel okay on your lower back, bend your left knee foot on the mat. So whichever way you have chosen with your left leg, either way, hug your right knee in. Rotate your right ankle around. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, supine twist. Use your arms to guide your right knee all the way across your body. Stack your right hip over your left. And then extend your right arm out behind you. Perhaps you gaze back to the right. Perhaps you close your eyes here. Give you permission to release your yogic breath if you haven't already. Begin to shift your breathing to those longer, slower, deeper inhales and exhales. Starting to ready your body to rest. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, gently come back to the center line. Hug both knees in for a moment just to center and release your spine out just a little bit. And then let's do the other side. So maintain your left leg, and you can choose right foot on the mat or right leg long. Rotate your left ankle as you give it a big hug and a squeeze. Draw it towards your left armpit. Thank it for all the good things it does for you. Take a nice big inhale. And then as you exhale, supine twist. Draw your left knee across your body. And extend your left arm out behind you. Perhaps you gaze back to the left or close your eyes. Stack your left hip over your right. And breathe into you. Noticing the subtle differences in your body between the beginning and the ending of class. Take one more inhale. And then gently come back to center. Place both feet on the mat and then hug both knees in. Make a little ball with your body one last time. Draw your nose towards your knees. Hug everything in. Give yourself a little love and gratitude, and thank you for coming to yoga today, for spending 60 whole minutes just on yourself, because you are so worth it. Take one more big inhale and squeeze everything. Your fingers, your ears, your eyes, your nose, your toes. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then exhale, find your Shavasana. So lie on down, maybe you put a little pillow underneath your knees. I'm gonna adjust our music. You find comfort, roll your shoulders down, get any last wiggles out of your body, and give yourself a few minutes of precious rest, sinking in to you. I will mind the time. Enjoy your Shavasana. My friends, you are more than welcome to stay as you are. Take your rest for as long as you desire. If you are ready to move on to the next wonderful thing in your day, begin to draw your awareness back to the present space, to present time. Let your breath deepen. Allow in any little micro movements that feel good. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists around in a circle. And then letting that go, give yourself a nice big morning stretch above your arms above your head. Stretch from fingers to toes into magical, amazing. There's nobody in the world like you, so please let that light shine out. And then gently letting that go. You can stay lying down, or maybe you come up to a comfortable seat. Permission to keep your eyes closed for the last few moments of class. We worked on focusing on a little bit more introspection, a little bit more presence, a little more feeling into the subtleties of the sounds, the sights, the feelings around us today. So I invite you to step back into reality, to take those little moments to just really take it all in, the sights, the sounds, the smells, as you move throughout your day. And just notice the way that changes your navigation of the moment of the world, even if it's just for like one moment. With that, my friends, it's always my goal to leave you a little better than I found you. I hope that happened for you today. Have a blessed, beautiful, amazing rest of your day. I appreciate you. Namaste. Thank you so much